Hello everyone, we are back for another interview here in Dundas, Ontario at Harster Greenhouses. We've been talking about more technical topics and growing topics about IPM management until now, but I wanted to switch to more business management topic. And today we are here with Yannick Harster. Hello Yannick.
Hello Sébastien.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for having us today.
It's my pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what brings you back to work here at the greenhouse?
Well, I worked here my whole life when I was a child, after school, on weekends, over holidays. And at the time it was really rough work and I told myself I was never coming back. And then I tried a few other things. I went to school in London, then I moved to Europe, and I started doing my schooling in manufacturing. I worked for BMW and Bombardier. And my parents didn't really have a succession plan in place. My siblings weren't interested in working in the company. So they asked me if I could come back and at least work here temporarily for a year or two. That turned into 4 years. And now I'm in a position where I think I'll be here for the long haul. I've really come to like my new role here as opposed to what I used to do when I was younger. And yeah, that's basically it. You know, the pull of family in your hometown is very strong.
Yeah, and also with all the education you get in Europe about manufacturing and everything, maybe that's a lot of things to implement here in a greenhouse. So,
yep.
So today we'll be talking about generation transition and in family-owned greenhouse business. So can you talk a little bit about the changes, the organization you want to implement, and the challenges you are facing?
Yeah, well, the key word is organization. I would say that the number one thing I've learned at school is that implementing procedures and rules, which most people tend not to like, especially if they've done something in a certain way for many, many years. It's not something that people, yes, habits are hard to change, and change is hard in general. But I would just say that implementing procedures and having something that you can measure, standards, is very important, because otherwise you don't really know where you're at. You don't know if you're improving, if you're regressing, or you can't really measure your progress. So I would say that implementing some more standardized procedures and being able to measure them and communicating the importance of that to people who maybe are a little hesitant to change or who don't see the benefits is probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah, like communicating and making the people involved by telling them where you're looking at, what's your goal. I think that's also a key in management.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you really need people that you trust. I find that micromanaging is never the answer, even when you do put these things in place. What I like to do is just agree on an end goal with the people I work with and say, this is your goal, these are the constraints you have, and I trust that you will get there with those constraints, and I don't really care how you do it, as long as we both agree on what the end goal is, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's really the new generation is trying to implement all those new management ways, because that's what's working in a worldwide industry. So I think it's really
it's a fine balance, because you don't want to become too corporate. You don't want to become a faceless organization where the people don't feel like they belong anymore. But at the same time, you do have to be a little bit more rigorous. Otherwise, we'll never progress and we'll never evolve with the technology in the world around us.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Yannick, for this interview. And if some people want to reach you to talk about those kind of topics, and maybe some people are facing the same challenges and they want to talk with you.
You could just reach me at my email. It's yannick@harster.com. So it's YANNICK at Harster, HARSTER.com. That's probably the fastest way of reaching me.
Thank you very much, Yannick, for having us here at Harster Greenhouses with that nice background of violets.
Yeah.
And have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Same to you.